Episode 19, Find Your Gap. So there's an awful lot of mistakes that are made when we're growing a small business. And I wanted to dig into this topic. And having just been part of an amazing summit, which was a free sort of 2 day experience that was created with lots of discussions. My session and my team's was actually Find Your Gap, and I'm being drawn to creating this as an episode. So I want to share with you the biggest mistake that I see when you're growing a small business. And I think this is something that has certainly resonated like immensely with people who were at the summit. And I know myself, I this is exactly what I shared, my personal experience, and I made that mistake. So what was the mistake? The mistake was when you're trying to do all the sort of moving parts of the business. It's almost like you're creating all these things, and then you're trying to connect it all. You're trying to do everything, and you're literally running thin, because you are covering so much ground. You're trying to do, the growth of your audience. You're trying to um sell. You're trying to like have customers in front of you, have potential clients, and you're trying to do all this thing. You're trying to be on social media, trying to be in the right places, say the right things, trying to work out what your visibility strategies are, what how you can do emails, how you can do this, that, all the tech, everything that's involved. Um and I think the biggest mistake now that I look back has been to try and market without really fully understanding who I was trying to market to and what I was trying to market. And I think this can be really overlooked because we just feel this pressure of using these so many free platforms that are available. All social medias, everything is like it's a free marketing tool. So, when you're trying to use it, but what is it you're trying to say? Like, for me, I think that epiphany moment is like understanding that there is so much work to do before you speak. Because if you don't understand what you need to say to connect with the people that you want to connect with, then it's basically just noise, isn't it? There's enough noise out there from coming from us in all directions. So, firstly, there's that kind of dream client, as I like to call them, work, because you need to understand them. But what level do you understand them? How do you know you've understood them enough? And how else can you figure that out? It's just feels quite difficult, doesn't it? Because you think you have clarity and then something changes, and then you're like, I don't feel like my message is landing with anybody. So it's all to do with the background and the foundations of who you're trying to help and what you're trying to help them with. Also in the summit, I've seen lots of my colleagues and guest speakers have shared that, they've rushed along to create XYZ when they didn't even have an offer in place. And I think sometimes that can be, it doesn't make it very clear. But if you know what you're trying to sell or trying to put out there, thinking about selling as serving, I don't mean it as a you're just trying to go out there and sell, but when you know what it is you want to put out there, it's almost like you want to reverse engineer everything else so that it all lines up. Um, it's no use having kind of disconnected pieces, which is what happens when you're in your own head and you just think that you start from A and you're going to Z, but it's almost like you want to know where you're going, what your end goal is, what the outcome is, and then you want to be tracking back and say, well, what needs to happen before that, and what needs to happen before that, and what do people need to know before that? Because effectively, that is your marketing. What do people need to learn, and what do they need to believe before they're going to buy from you? And those are like two amazing questions that I would invite you to write them down and just question yourself, take some time away and try and figure that out, because you will get more clarity each time you ask yourself what they need. And at the end of the day, your marketing is trying to nurture them between that point of finding you up to the point that they are ready to buy from you, if they're obviously the right fit for you. There'll be people who will drop off, and that's fine. But understanding that your gap, that's the gap you're trying to fill with your marketing. And the other thing that was coming up for me is, like I said, that other speakers had said that, they tried to do say a sales page and they hadn't even got an offer out. They didn't know exactly what they were selling, but they were trying to work out the best way to, whether that's learning the tech or writing the copy. It's kind of useless if you don't have your end goal in mind. So another thing that's really important is, when you're trying to find your gap, is what order do you need to work on them? Because I think that is something that gets lost, because, day to day we get caught up in the detail and we're like, right, I need to do this thing today, I need to do this thing tomorrow. Maybe you've planned your week out, but is it actually in the whole big picture of your business growth? If you looked at all the elements that you needed, are you working on them in the right order? Because that could set you back if you're not working on them in the right order, because you're always going to hit another stumbling block then, because you're trying to sort of start in the middle and then move forward. But if you haven't got the foundation pieces in place, then that building is never going to stand up. And that's almost like the way that I like to view business growth. We need to set the foundation. We need to make sure it's fully solid, it's strong, it's built with enough layers there, and so that it can then hold the weight of everything else that you do. And then you'll create, pillars, you'll create maybe another story on top of it, and it will be able to take that pressure. So yeah, what's missing in your foundations? Because it's never like, even if you're further on in your business or you've started like a year ago, 2 years ago, it's never a bad time to go back and just check that your foundations are the way you thought, because things can change over time as well. So then going back to that foundational piece, and I think for the real first foundational layer is really about who you help and how you help them. Because until we don't get full clarity, anything else we do just won't connect properly, because it won't be following on from this discovery. So you want to almost create and make that discovery now, and then do the other things after. So I hope this episode's been insightful for you. If you feel drawn to building your business with boundaries, where you can give yourself permission to prioritize, and you can work productively, and you can be in a supportive environment where you are constantly feeling like you are able to take that next step, you're able to get more confident, you're able to build the layers that you need to lay down as the foundation, then please do get in touch with me, contact me, and let's chat about it and see what it is that you need. And obviously, if you are a right fit, I'd be more than happy to share with you what might be a suitable next step for you. So take care until next time, and I will speak to you soon. Bye.